Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Season 2, Episode 1 of The Boys. So you may remember we did a review series of Season 1. I chose to review the series episode by episode, but because the series had already come out, unlike with current stuff like What If, I was basically just getting to it whenever I felt I could, and it's like it caused episodes to like have no real consistency with release because it's just I got to them whenever I could and did a review afterwards, first chance. So it's like, yeah, it just caused some consistency issues, and so that combined with the fact of how much I ended up enjoying season 1, I decided let's just react to season 2. Let's just give it a full reaction series going forward. I think it's the kind of series I could enjoy reacting to. So let's do it. Now, at the end of season 1, we find out that Butcher's wife is still alive. Like, we had assumed she was dead. There was all this about that and everything. She had been apparently raped by Homelander, and we assumed she was dead. But we find out that she not only survived, but had Homelander's kid. And presumably she's been like put in like this kind of witness protection kind of situation ever since. It's at the very end of season 1 where Butcher finds this out himself because Homelander straight up takes him there. And it's like, oh, okay. Also, Stillwell is dead. Homelander killed her after he found out the truth of everything. So that leaves kind of a power vacuum and makes you wonder who's going to take over Vought now, and how is that going to affect things. Huey had like this big confrontation with A-Train, but A-Train had a heart attack due to all the Compound V he was taking, and all kinds of shit went down and everything. It's just like basically a total shit show. But I mean, that's kind of what The Boys goes for. It's kind of showing how superheroes would work in real life. In the real world, superhero society would be just as fucked up as regular society is. There would be just as many issues, just as many shitty people with superpowers, just as many shitty companies trying to control it all. And you get a little bit of that in like DC and Marvel, for sure, but never to this degree. And between this and the other Amazon series about super violent, intense superhero shit, with Invincible, I feel like Amazon's really trying to corner a very certain market here. But I'm not complaining. Both Invincible and The Boys are fantastic. And while season 2 of Invincible and season 3 are confirmed, we don't know when those are coming yet. So for now, we'll just continue on with The Boys. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm really rooting for Huey and Starlight, Annie, whatever you want to call her, to continue their relationship and everything, even with all the issues that have arisen last season. I'm really interested to see how Butcher reacts to his wife being alive and everything and raising Homelander's kid. Who's going to take over Vought? That's a big question. Will the Deep ever be reinstated? If justice were served, probably not, but he probably will. And what's going to happen with the rest of the team? the rest of the boys. There's a lot of questions. And I'm just wondering how things are going to be answered. Now, we'll probably get a more full recap for sure. And I'm excited to see like what I may have missed and forgotten and how that may play out. Um, but also, apparently, season 3 is going to be coming out sometime in the near future. And that's another reason to get excited for this series because season 3 is going to have Jensen Ackles in it, who was Dean Winchester in Supernatural. He was also in plenty of other things, like he was in Smallville. He was like this soccer coach or something in Smallville. But Jensen Ackles is going to be in it as a character named Soldier Boy, and it's like I adore Jensen Ackles. Plus, he's pretty hot, so it's like I really can't wait to see how he fits into this universe, and I definitely think he will really sell a character in The Boys extremely well. But I'm very excited for that. I'm excited to see what more we get with season 2. Are we going to get new heroes to worry about? Are we going to get more with Maeve? I would like to see much more delved into with her. Just a lot to cover. Will A-Train actually survive this heart attack? That's a big question. But just a note for everyone watching this, as pretty much everything on my channel tends to be, I don't market any of my content towards children just for the fact that I do swear, I do talk about adult content and stuff, even when the show's not adult oriented. But this show is very adult oriented. There is sex, there is gore, there is extreme violence, there is really horrific shit. Like just really horrific ideologies and shit that is just absolutely horrible. And that's the point, but I'm just letting everybody know going into this. If that's not your cup of tea, it might be good to skip this one. But if you can handle all of that, if you're good with all of that, buckle up because we're in for a ride. I'm really excited to see what more season 2 can do. And I'm hoping that it even breaks boundaries that season 1 didn't. So let's get into it. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Strong way to kick things off. I'm not even joking. When the deputy director's head exploded and everything, it caught me so off guard. It was like I had turned up the volume a bit and everything, and it so legitimately scared the shit out of me when it happened. Like, not like oh, that was horrifying or anything, but no, like actually like a jump scare. It was so unexpected. It just the pop of the head, the explosion itself was just the right volume in my ears, and just the unexpected nature of it. It legitimately scared the shit out of me when it happened. Like my heart like leapt into my throat because I was just not expecting it at all. And it's like it just I don't know if I've been that legitimately shocked by something like in that way, reacting to it on this channel. Like there's probably some things I'm forgetting, probably some things that have made me jump and everything like that, but like that one really got me. And I say that in the best possible way. Like it's super effectively done, but it's like holy shit. There's a lot that happened in this, obviously. So I'm just gonna talk about, and probably out of order, specifically some things that really stood out to me. So Homelander is kind of taking charge of Vought now that Stillwell is gone. And in Stillwell's place, he has recommended Ashley because she can easily be manipulated. He wants to have the more of the actual control himself, so he doesn't have to kind of deal with the middleman so much per se. And so he knows he can control Ashley. He knows that she'll be basically just a puppet for his will. However, we see that there is still one person above him, and that's Giancarlo Esposito's character, who I keep forgetting the name of. He still is technically the head of Vought. Like, Stillwell was never, like, fully in charge. She even served him. And so he is still in control here. And we see that as he decides to appoint a new member of the Seven. And this is after Ashley tried to appoint someone. This vision impaired hero who didn't really need sight to act. He used his other senses, such as his hearing. And in another shocking moment in this episode, though not quite as intensely surprising to me, Homelander did the entire like clap on the ears things. Like I think as kids, a lot of us did that kind of thing to like mess with people, mess with our friends and stuff. But obviously, we could never do it hard enough to cause any real damage. But that is a thing that you can do to discombobulate someone. It can actually cause damage if you do it hard enough. And knowing that Homelander has, like, you know, super strength and speed and shit, you know, he can do it hard enough to cause real damage. And as we saw, this kid was gushing blood from his ears and shit. And this kid probably, from what we could tell, was a good kid. A legitimately good hero like Starlight who just wanted to do good, who just wanted to be an actual hero. And Homelander just fucks him up in a horrific way. And it's like, that's God. I mean, the episode definitely made me hate Homelander even more than I already did, which is, I mean, kudos to them for making me hate him more. You got to give them credit that they do well at making him detestable. But we see that this guy then appoints someone. I can't remember what her name was, but this like social media girl who was pointing out how everything was fake. Like, oh, this army base isn't real. You notice that that army dude, he's an actor. You've seen him in this role, this bit role, and it's like, oh, okay. And then we find out she's a hero who's being hired to this event. It's like, oh, okay. So it's going to be interesting to, I guess, meet and learn more about her. And speaking of new heroes, we have another new hero from Cleveland, I believe it was. This archer guy named Eagle, who is, I guess, helping out the Deep, though it seems very cult-like. Like their group, like this woman is even like from this like group that's called a church and everything, and it's like, oh my god, this is super cult-like. Like you could see it, and it's like, oh, the Deep is going to get involved in a cult. Okay, didn't quite see that coming, but okay. um, that's going to be an interesting plot line to follow. Butcher, for most of the episode until the very end, is nowhere to be seen. After the events of season 1, where he found out his wife was still alive and had Homelander's kid and everything, still don't know how he reacted to that fully, though. So I guess we'll have to see if it expands into that later on in the season. But at the end, we see that Frenchie did call him and that he's back to being the leader of the boys again, which, for obvious reasons, Huey is not a fan of. Huey and Butcher definitely had a huge falling out, and it's going to take some adjustment. But after the deputy director's head kind of went boom, I mean, yeah, I don't blame them for calling in Butcher. I like there was a lot in season one that was like horrific and legitimately scary and frightening. When Homelander killed Stillwell, like that, to use this way of putting it that just came into my head, which is actually really ironically genius, but also kind of gross at the same time. That scene is, well, it's burned into my head. Um, I hate that I came up with that. But seriously, though, it's like it's super memorable of a scene. And there's a lot of scenes like that in season one. When Homelander forces Maeve to abandon the passengers on that ship before it crashes and all. When Homelander destroys the one airplane that's carrying the mayor and his son and everything and kills everyone on board. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit in season one. But it's like just right off the bat in this season, they just really go heavy. That head exploding thing was so shocking. Again, it just I can't I can't even begin to describe how ingrained into my memory that scene specifically is going to be. If nothing else from this episode is going to be instantly memorable, that is going to be instantly memorable. Because it scared the bejesus out of me. And hey, I mean, that's an effective way to get someone to remember a scene. It works, it's effective. um, but yeah, we see that the boys are just trying to kind of survive during all of this. They're doing some, like, well, Milk is doing some medical work, while Huey is just kind of going around behind their backs and planning stuff with Starlight, involving this guy named Gecko, who, well, like a gecko, like a lizard, can regrow detached body parts and is apparently, as it's put in the episode, whoring himself out as an S&M whore to allow people, I guess, to get off on that kind of thing, or at least to take out their emotions, their anger and stuff, in a really, really fucked up way. And it's like you could tell, like I was not comfortable with any of that scene. I mean, even just like chopping off the arm and everything was lots as it was, but then when he like for an extra grand, I'll let you chop off my penis. And it's like just instantly, it's like, ugh. It's like everything about that is a big no to me. Oh, and the fact that the guy's response is like, "Where's the nearest ATM?" It's like, oh, I hate this. Like my cheeks are clenched. That was so uncomfy. um, but again, kind of the point. And Starlight ends up blackmailing him because they're planning to get some Compound V, her and Huey, to, well, to blackmail with and to reveal Vought and everything. So we'll see how that goes. Um, who knows if that plan will even go anywhere near according to plan. Well, um, but I like that Giancarlo Esposito's character is not even the slightest bit scared of Homelander. Like, because right now I think he's the only character who probably wouldn't be. But one, Giancarlo Esposito pulls it off amazingly. He's such a phenomenal actor that you believe it. And two, it's interesting. It adds this interesting dynamic, and I wonder if they're going to do a lot with that this season. Seeing, and I wonder if Homelander's going to try to kill him, or at least threaten to. There's a lot that goes into that too, and it's just we get more of the super terrorists in this as well, and it's like even even Giancarlo's character knows that it was Homelander who was behind that, And it's just like, oh my God. This is gonna be an interesting season, I can already tell. And they mentioned Soldier Boy. Giancarlo's character mentions Soldier Boy, and it's like, again, that's the character that Jensen Ackles is going to be playing in season 3. So it's like, that's going to be fun. I'm definitely interested to see that now. Now that we've gotten him at least mentioned. And of course I was interested before because, as I said in the pre-thoughts, it's Jensen Ackles. So that alone makes me excited. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where this season goes. This first episode just kind of really went off the rails quick. Did not hold anything back like I hoped it wouldn't, honestly. So it kind of lived up to my expectations there. And in some ways surpassed them, and again, really surprised me with certain things. But it's like, there's so much potential for where they're going to bring this series, for exactly what they're going to do, exactly how they're going to do it, and these new characters that have started to appear, I'm really interested in them. So we'll continue as we go along, and hopefully each week's reaction will just continue to be just as good, if not better. So tell me in the comments below, what do you think of Season 2, Episode 1 of The Boys? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.